In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem. In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and pink beetles. Love City Media presents Tigers Live with Francis Carlotta. Join Francis after every Memphis Tiger game as he breaks down each matchup, player of the game, and upcoming games. Now, let's get to the show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Tigers Live. I'm your host, Francis Carlotta, coming at y'all after the Memphis Tigers lose 66-87. Kenny. I'm
nervous a little bit, to be honest with you. Can I tell you why?
Please talk to me.
You have a look in your eyes, and you're very quiet. In the green room, you were very quiet. I have a feeling you're not happy right now.
No, I'm not happy, Kenny. I'm not happy. It's a lot of emotions that I'm experiencing right now, man. As I'm sure a lot of Tiger Nation is experiencing similar emotions as well after Memphis puts up this type of performance against a team that was just straight up better than Memphis. Oh, that was a fun screen. What's going on, Roman?
Yeah, it was. I'm good. Obviously, a very horrible night for Memphis tonight, and I know that this was an entire game and it went the way it went. And I typically don't like to narrow down games to one decision or one play or anything like that. But in my opinion, Memphis ruined any chance that it had at winning this game once it decided to sub out Aaron Bradshaw for the rest of the first half. Once they made the call, Bradshaw has two fouls. He's done for the first half. That was basically the game for Memphis because Aaron Bradshaw was the motor. He was the engine, and he was the spark behind Memphis having the pretty good start that it did in this game. And once they were like, well, he has two fouls, so he can't play. That was it. It's one of the dumbest ideologies in college basketball and in sports in general, and it cost Memphis dearly tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you, Roman. You're 100% right. It's an unfortunate reality of not just college basketball, but also in the NBA, sitting somebody who's on their third foul so they don't get their fourth in the NBA. Same thing in college. Sit dudes who are on their second so they don't get a third so early. But also at the same time, you just gotta read the game. Sorry for my dog in the background. You just gotta read what's happening on the floor and realize that Aaron Bradshaw was the best player in a Memphis Tigers uniform, hands down, for that stretch of the time. Maybe the best player on the floor, at least one of the better players on the floor against a team that's probably going to win the American. And Aaron Bradshaw looked that good, that impactful. and that's just to sit them for the entire first half. That to me is coaching too safe in a game
That's coaching
that
to not lose as opposed to coaching
Correct.
to win.
Absolutely, in a game that no one really thought Memphis had a chance at, and that is playing like a words that I probably can't say live on air.
You can say whatever you want.
That's coaching like a bitch. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you have that viewpoint, it's certainly hard to argue. Like, I get it to a degree, even though I think it's ultimately a really stupid ideology. But even if you are a believer in it, even if you are, this game particularly, it gets to a point where the offense was just not functioning without him. Like, they weren't operating at any sort of competent level. I mean, missing 19 consecutive field goals and 20 of your last 22 to end the first half. Like, if that is not an indication that a certain guy has to be out on the floor, I don't know what is. Because they started 5 of 8 with him in the game and 6 of 10 overall, because they made a couple more, or made one more after he subbed out to start 6 of 10, and then things got really, really bad from there.
At least bring him in with like 7 minutes to go in the first half. Don't sit him the entire first half. Just like the game was slipping out of Memphis's grasp pretty quickly through the first half. Like, it was basically over at halftime. It's just, and I do apologize for saying that, but because y'all know me, I don't try and talk like that. I just don't, but that's how I feel. It's like Roman said, it's coaching not to lose and not coaching to win. And that's how I feel, Kenny. There's a lot of emotions boiling in me, man.
Oh no, I get it. I'm loving the comment section right now, because you've got and shout out to everybody who's joining, watching the show. Shout out to you guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Tell you when we go live every single time we go live. Like last night with On Beat with BCM, Roman Cleary hosting that show. Shout out to him and Sam Shoemaker. I just love that we're getting comments. Now it's our fault because we don't ask hard questions of Penny, right? Like, one of you media members make Penny answer some hard questions. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Roman does try.
Roman Cleary asked him, do you stand by what you said about this roster at the beginning of the season? How much harder of a question, bro? He basically said to him in a very professional way, because guess what? Roman is a professional. He said, bro, are you full of shit? Like, are you honestly, like, were you full of shit when you said that, or are you full of shit now? Like, do you want to backtrack on what you said? Because clearly this team is not your second best roster that you've ever had, right? So, I mean, I don't know what y'all want us to say. I just think it's an easy thing to do, to target us and say we're not asking him the hard questions. Us not asking him hard questions doesn't make him sit Aaron Bradshaw for 15, 16 minutes of an entire first half where you're up by 6 and then go down by 20 at the halftime.
Yeah. He subbed him out with 4:15 left in the first half and didn't play him again until after halftime. Insanity.
14. Sorry, I just want to be
14-15. It's complete insanity. I'm sorry. I don't know any other way to put it. Like, that is insanity.
I mean, seriously, I've never heard of 0 for 19 in a stretch in a first half. It was unbelievable. 11 minutes without a field goal made is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, there was just a point where I guess you just reached a certain amount of disbelief that it didn't even feel like disbelief anymore. The feeling of disbelief just grew numb the further and further it went on. And by the time that Thedford finally broke it with like a minute or so left, it was like, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Y'all, Roman, Kenny, all y'all watching the show, the thing that makes me so angry is that this isn't new. This isn't the first time that we've seen Memphis go sustained periods of a basketball game and look like they shouldn't even be on the same floor as the team they're playing against. This is not the first time. We saw Memphis give up a 1,000-0 run against Tulsa to lose that game in the last 5 minutes. We saw that happen. We see Memphis give up runs against North Texas. We see Memphis play Utah State close for, let's say, a third of the game or whatever. And then after that, they just don't even look like they should be on the same floor as the Utah State Aggies. And no disrespect to Utah State. They are a good team. But Memphis, they didn't even look like they're in the same, they shouldn't be breathing the same air. And that's the same thing, y'all, with this USF game. Memphis didn't look like they belonged on the same floor as USF. That's atrocious. That's awful. It's one thing to lose, and it's one thing to not even look like y'all belong in the same conference. At this rate, the gap between Memphis, this Memphis Tigers team, and the top of the American is a gulf that I never thought I would see in my time as a Memphis Tigers men's basketball fan. I never thought I'd see that. Memphis they were in the Conference USA. That gap never happened because Memphis ran the CUSA. And then in the American, I never thought I would see a Memphis Tigers team look so outclassed, out-talented, out-coached, just straight up lapped by the top of the conference like we're seeing now. I never thought I'd see the day, but we see it right now.
Yeah, we're here. Yeah. We're here at that point, right? Like we're definitely here. This is 3 straight games of just blowout, and blowout, and with very little, I guess, hope for anything moving forward for the season, right? Like this. I know some of the analytics sites have Memphis favored in the rest of their games going through, but I'll be honest with you, man. Like I ain't got it. It ain't me. They're playing UAB in 3 days at 11 a.m. on ESPN2 in Memphis. Wichita State.
A UAB team, by the way, that's still undefeated on the road in conference play.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It is. It's just a wild time to be a Tiger fan right now. So, King Meeks asked, "Are we in a therapy session tonight?" I think that's kind of what we're doing. I think.
Yeah,
and I think
that's what we're doing.
Yeah, they got. Timo said they got Francis having a strong drink.
Yeah, I got some whiskey in my cup, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. This is whiskey, not even a beer.
And you're in Cali right now, so it's like it's still 5 o'clock somewhere, right? You're already drinking. You're already drinking.
Yeah, I mean,
you're already drinking whiskey. You know, it ain't even
6:30.
It ain't even dark outside where you're at.
Y'all know the Last Dance when Michael Jordan he would do his interviews right for the Last Dance. He had a glass of whiskey, and you can kind of tell where MJ was mentally for his interviews, depending on the level of his whiskey glass, how drunk he was, and how red in the face he was getting. That's going to be me by the end of Tigers Live. You're going to see the level of this drink slowly go down, and my face get redder as the show happens.
Take a shot for me, Francis. King
Meeks, that's why do you think I'm doing this, bro? That's why I'm here. I want to say this too, and obviously we can move on from this talking point. The whole point about asking Penny these hard questions. Thing is, I'm confident Penny's going to get asked when he does his post-game media scrum or whatever, why did he sit Aaron Bradshaw for the entire first half after 14-15? Like, I'm confident he'll get asked by somebody. That's not the problem. There's nothing that media can do really about this team. All media can do is talk about this team, report on this team. That's really it. Penny Hardaway is the one who made the decision to sit Aaron Bradshaw for the rest of the first half after he got his second foul. That's not on the media. That's not even on us as fans. It's not on us. Like, I didn't make that decision. Kenny, did you? I didn't do that.
No, we can
Roman sure as hell didn't do that.
We can ask him about it, but what if he comes back? Like, it's just a feel thing, right? Like, it's just a feel thing.
That, I had to keep that's him, probably
and that's fine.
What I was gonna say,
right? It's fine, but it's just at the same time, it's like it doesn't change the fact we're asking questions after something already happened, like after something happened. So it's not like ain't no question going to be asked to him that's going to change his mind on how he decides to do things. But I don't know, man. We're looking at another just awful game by Doug McDaniel.
Yeah.
Just awful. 7 points, 3 of 10 from the floor, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers, and 1 foul.
That marks the 5th consecutive game where he has shot 30% or worse from the field.
And no free throws again.
No free throws.
Again.
He was actually 4 of 6 at the line at Utah State, but yeah, basically no free throw attempts besides that over the last 5, 6, 7 games, whatever it is now. Doug has been, in the ringer for basically this entire month, and just nothing seems to be getting him out of it. Yeah. It just feels like Doug's in a position where nothing can go his way. Like that layup that he had very early in the game that was called for goaltending once Scylla put it in. Like that was just like Daniel was going to make that free throw or that layup. He was gonna make it. Like it was clearly going in, and then Scylla just ruins it by committing goaltending. So we're in a place now, I think, with Doug to where it's beyond bad play. Like he just can't seem to get anything to go his way no matter what he does now.
Yeah, I agree. Sean Day said Doug needs to see contact. It's that simple. I agree with you, Sean, that I think Doug goes up really weakly. He's too used to, or not used to, he's too comfortable going up and just throwing a ball high off of the backboard or trying to hit this really tough push floater over dudes bigger than him. And he doesn't use his body. He doesn't go up aggressively and get foul calls. So I agree with you that he needs to see contact. I also think for Doug, since he doesn't see contact, that's gotta be a mental thing. That's what that tells me. That for whatever reason, Doug McDaniel mentally is playing scared basketball. And I don't know why he is, but it's clear that he is. He's playing scared basketball. He's afraid to see contact. He's afraid to draw fouls. And I just don't think mentally he's in a good spot. I think it was in the Roman, you tweeted this and let me know if I'm saying it incorrectly. Didn't Penny say that he showed Doug his highlights in Michigan or something?
Yeah.
To get his swagger back?
Yeah. Penny was talking about Doug a little bit in the pregame interview he had with Wolo, and he said that he thinks that Doug has apparently lost some of the swagger that he had at Michigan. So he showed him some highlights, tried to get his spirits up, challenged him to get 10 assists in this game. Obviously, that did not come to fruition either. Look, at the end of the day, Memphis needs Doug McDaniel to perform well because he's the most talented backcourt player on the team. And now that Hassan Abdul-Hakim is off the team altogether, he might be the most pound-for-pound talented player. And it's just not working right now. Nothing seems to be working with him at the moment.
Yeah. I got to say, I understand what Penny's trying to do by showing Doug his old highlights. But we've watched Doug all season long. I've said this on multiple Tigers lives in the past. I think Doug genuinely has lost a step. I think he's gotten slower. I think he's lost some explosive bursts that he used to have when he was at Michigan. And there's probably a part of Doug mentally that knows that. And while I understand Penny I understand Penny showing those highlights to Doug to try and get him his swagger back, that could have had the inverse effect on Doug's confidence because Doug is seeing what he used to be and now he knows what he isn't. And maybe he knows deep down inside that he just can't be what he used to be. He doesn't have that step. He doesn't have that burst anymore. So maybe it had the wrong effect. But I mean, does that make sense to you, Kenny? Like what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I don't know who you bring off the bench to replace him, right? He's still
there's no option.
Yeah, unless you say Sincere Parker, you can start and Curtis can play the one. I don't. There's no good option, right? There's really no fix as to what's going on here. I think, is it okay for us to say that at this point that we just have to survive this thing until it mercifully ends? And I just don't think that I don't think that there's a fix for this. I think this is a absolutely flawed roster that is just a bad team. And you've got flawed players who this will be the last time they put on a basketball uniform playing for Memphis. And that's okay. Like, they're going to probably go, they're going to have degrees once they leave Memphis, and they're going to probably go make some good money doing something else. But this is just a bad season that mercifully just needs to end. Is that okay to say? Is that too much?
I mean, is that not more or less what I said after UNLV?
Bro's like, I said this at the start of the year, y'all.
It was pretty clear after that game that things were gonna, go in a certain direction, and there have been some twists and turns along the way, and things have looked more positive at times. But overall, it seems like Memphis is in the place that they looked like they were going to end up in at the very beginning of non-conference play. The only real surprising thing for me is just how poor they have performed in conference play.
That's
because the thought is, the thought is, okay, maybe this roster isn't good enough to compete with the power conference teams and the SEC programs of the world. But you know what? It's still the most talented team in the American. They will still be competitive and fine once you get to that point. But they're just not. They're now 7-6 in the league. No. And believe it or not, I don't think it'll happen, but missing the conference tournament is on the table. There's an outside shot. There's an outside shot of it happening. I do not think it happens, but it is a possibility.
And Roman, I am going to push back again. I love you. You're my guy. But if I hear you say that this is the most talented team in the American Conference again, I'm going to lose my shit. Like, this team is terrible. They just got boat raced by USF. USF is more talented top to bottom than Memphis is. Like, this team is not good. There's not good players on this team. There's people that are saying in the comment section, like, do they not care anymore? I think they absolutely care. I don't think they know what to do. Like, I don't think anybody on the Memphis sideline knows what to do to fix this. Like, They don't know how to fix this. I think Penny understands, like, hey, in the past, this is what I would have done. It ain't working. And he's given up at this point. Like, to not even, like, some of those buttons that he could push. Like, man, I'm sure back in the day, showing Doug McDaniel or showing a player highlights from a previous school would have been an awesome trigger, right? Like, wow, this is great. It ain't working. Like, none of this works because these dudes aren't good at basketball. Like, there's a reason why they're coming from broken programs that they came from, and they're coming and they're breaking this program. Like, I just be frank about it. Like, this team is not good. They're not talented. There's just no way at this point in the season with 7-6 in the American, you can say that this is a talented team. They're not talented.
I mean, there are certainly individual talented players. They're just not being maximized, and there isn't enough talented players around them ultimately.
Yeah.
I think entering the year that on paper.
And again, this roster was more expensive than last year's roster. So
right. Like, I think entering the year, you could state that this was a more talented team, or the most talented team in the American. Entering the year on paper, I think you could make that statement. And I'm with Roman in that regard. But it is clear now from looking at the evidence of these games, no, they're not at the same level. And I've said this, like you said, Kenny, I've seen the same sentiment many times. I don't think it's a care issue about this team. They're just not that good. Like, they play hard. I genuinely think they play hard. They're just not good at basketball.
Yeah.
Like, they're just not good. USA health insurance reform, can't say they didn't try. They bad. Yeah, that's it. They try. Sometimes your best is sometimes not good enough. And that is, I think, kind of what we're seeing. I think they're giving it their all. It's just not good enough. And then when they realize that their best isn't good enough, that's when you start to see the effort come down a little bit. That's when you start to see more compounding mistakes, because they get to a point in a game that they realize there's nothing they can do. And they're defeated at a point in the game. And that's how we get what we get. But they're just
Riverscape Capital Investment really wants us to talk about Julius Tedford and Curtis Givens III. Shout out to Curtis Givens III, who was a minus 22 in 31 minutes tonight. So in the 31 minutes that he played, the Tigers lost by 22 points tonight. So, I mean, like, hey, shout out to Curtis. He's the man. And I actually do kind of like Curtis, but what are we praising here? Like, Julius Thedford is a dog. He's 13 points, 4 of 9 shooting from the field, 2 of 3 from the 3-point line. They lost by 21 points tonight. Like, none of that matters, right? Like, none of that matters. And so, yeah, but we'll give them support. Yeah, we'll acknowledge them. We acknowledge you, Julius and Curtis. We acknowledge you. Thank you.
Julius is a bright spot of an otherwise depressing, dark season. Like, Julius has turned into a player that a lot of us hope that he comes back to Memphis next year because he plays really hard. He knows his role. He excels at it. So shout out to Julius Thedford. He's a really good player. Y'all like Curtis? That's cool. You know, y'all can like Curtis. I'm not a big Curtis guy. I would love to be proven wrong on him if he comes back next year. I'm not there with y'all with Curtis. I don't think things pop for me with him, and then defense is not good.
But why? He does positive things. Like, it's hard to
I don't think he's a good defender. And his shot making is very inconsistent. He's not a good passer either. He's not a good ball handler either. He can score and get to his spot every now and then, but he's not a good ball handler. He's not a good passer. So that's how I feel. That's just me.
I just don't think I don't think we've seen the Curtis Givens have an opportunity to play with a good team at the collegiate level. I just don't think so.
Sure. Yeah. That's
and
fair.
He is producing well on this bad team.
That's so mean, Sean Day. You can't help he has no mustache. Like, that's just
see, me and Sean are on the same page, except for the mustache. I didn't say that part, but
yeah, there was a couple of games ago where Curtis had like 3 straight possessions where he literally with the ball in his hands as point guard 1 literally chest passed it to the opposing team. Like, I don't know what he's there. There's sometimes where I'm like, man, the decision making on his side is not great at all.
I think he's a decent combo guard. You know, a decent 2 guard who can score, give you a punch. We've seen him put the ball in the hoop at a somewhat consistent level, but outside of that, I don't think he's a good passer. I don't think he's a good ball handler. I don't think he's a good defender. So, and I don't think he's a good enough scorer to make all those other traits not matter as much. So that's just how I feel about Curtis.
We do need to talk about Aaron Bradshaw. I'm impressed by his turnaround in his game. I'm so glad that he was able to come back and put some tape on that elbow. It looked like a dislocation of his elbow. That looked nasty. Like, that looked horrible. And but again, as Roman and Francis y'all both so succinctly said, when he went out of the game, the Tigers lost their way. He was absolutely the best player on the floor for the Tigers the entire game when he was out there, and he only played did he only play 9 minutes?
Yeah. He only played 9 minutes because he sat out the last 14 of the first half, and then he only played 3 in the second half because of that elbow injury.
So Darius Acuff had 50 points in 49 minutes, or 49 points in 50 minutes last night. Aaron Bradshaw said, "Hold my beer. I'm going to get 12 points in 9 minutes." Like,
that's a Darren Peterson line, baby.
That's a Darren Peterson type.
That's
line.
a Darren Peterson line.
But I mean, to be honest, like, it is really. It has been a lone bright spot for this season to see what Aaron Bradshaw has been able to turn into, and I think that he's definitely resurrected, you know, his career moving forward. Like, he's a decent player. He's doing good things out there for this Tigers team when at the beginning of the year was unplayable, like virtually unplayable. And so I do want to give a shout out to him. I don't want to just shit on this team entirely. I'm happy with the way that Aaron Bradshaw has responded to a lot of negative critique, a lot of negative criticism nationally and locally, and even getting his money taken by Penny, right? Like I think he's done a good job of kind of bouncing back.
Yeah, no, for sure. You can argue that besides Sincere Parker, he has been the Tigers' best player in American Conference play, and even beyond Sincere, you can say that he's maybe been their best player since conference play began. Because I mean, he is individually has been everything this front court has needed him to be. But unfortunately for Memphis, the guard play has tapered off significantly for the most part, but outside of Sincere since conference play began. And you've seen flashes from guys like Tierra Nosilla and Simon Majak, but there hasn't really been what you would call a consistent secondary option down low. So at the end of the day, Bradshaw can only do so much, even especially with Bradshaw still having his own flaws. Like the fouling trouble just does not seem to go away for him. Again, should he have been taken out for the entire first half with 2 fouls? No. But part of the reason I'm sure Penny made that decision is because of how quickly the fouls can pile up on Aaron Bradshaw. As flawed as that ideology is, you can, I guess, see it from that perspective, because when Bradshaw starts fouling, the fouls, they pile up quickly, and then all of a sudden you don't have them anymore. So, you know, it's certainly unfortunate for Memphis that the turnaround with Aaron Bradshaw seems to have happened, but the overall situation just hasn't improved at all.
Yeah, I agree. I also think Memphis's best lineup, and this is just my opinion, I don't have lineup data in front of me. My opinion of what Memphis's best lineup is Aaron Bradshaw at the 5 with no other big with him. And then you got Doug, Curtis, Julius, and Sincere. Or you can throw in maybe a Zach Davis if he's getting playing time just for more defense. But I think that's what I said is probably their best 5, and that's because Aaron Bradshaw has been so impactful on both ends of the floor as a lone big. He can score. He's been a much better defender. He's been an improved rebounder as well on the defensive glass. But the thing is, he just can't stay on the floor. So it's hard for Penny to even run lineups with Bradshaw out there because he can't stay out of foul trouble. It's wild to look at how important Aaron Bradshaw is to this team. After, as you said, Kenny, he looked unplayable for the first 6 to 8 games of the season. He just didn't look playable. And now he's looking like the most important offensive player on the floor for the Tigers. Because without him, we saw what happens. We saw the offense grind to a halt with no made baskets basically at all for that stretch of the first half. And it just proves how valuable he is to this offense. He's definitely not a perfect player. I'm not saying Aaron Bradshaw is a world beater or nothing, but for what he's become, he's so important to this offense as a scorer, as a rim finisher. That's the other thing. The Memphis's bigs are not great finishers at the rim, and Bradshaw's the best one. So if you don't have Bradshaw on the floor to finish at the rim, that's a problem. You don't have that punch on the inside. Wharton can dunk, but he doesn't have touch around the rim. Ingram, I'm not going to talk about Tariq Ingram. Simon Majok, he just started playing basketball like 3 years ago. Like he doesn't have control of his body yet. So he's not a good enough finisher at the rim to be as effective as I think he can be. So that's why Aaron Bradshaw is so important.
No, you're right. Robert Smith wants to know, why didn't Pitty do a press conference last game? Will he do one this game? Unfortunately, we don't travel with the team, so I don't know on road games. I don't. Sometimes he goes up to the podium. Sometimes he does a little scrum outside the locker room. Probably
there was no media at Utah State. So.
Okay, there you go. But it's probably more so than anything is that he's scared of the questions, the hard questions are going to be asked of him, right? Like he doesn't want to. I'm just joking. I'm totally joking. The puff questions that he gets asked by Roman Cleary, he doesn't want to have to answer them after every game. I'm joking. Yeah, are you getting low on Simon Majok? I
still think he can be a future NBA Hall of Famer. You know, I still believe that. in my heart of hearts, I think he can be one of the best bigs we've ever seen. But right now, he's got work to do. He still has work to do.
Man, he went from being the most NBA ready for the draft guy that the Tigers have to now being a Hall of Famer. This is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. Let's take a break real quick. When we come back, I want to talk to Roman. I want to get kind of your latest reporting on the Zach Davis and Hassan Abdul Hakim situation, and talk about what's up next for the Tigers. We'll be back after this break. In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem.
You have to be cut from a certain cloth to be a star in the NBA, bro. Like, and a lot of guys can look the part and they can kind of play the part, but you really gotta be that dude, bro. And like, we talked about this yesterday with the new faces of the league, or them dudes we talked about, right? Like, them dudes cut different, man. Like, you gotta be cut from a different cloth to be a real star in the NBA. And the Grizzlies, they saw Ja and they put everything behind him and they tooled everything around him and all these type of things. And man, you better pick right when you decide what you're gonna build this thing around, man, because you can look back and be like, yeah, man, we blew a whole 7 of them things real quick. You know what I mean? Those 7 years got away from you real fast, bro, because everybody ain't ready for that limelight, man. The limelight bright as
Tune in to the Anthony Sain Show Monday through Fridays at 1 p.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Grind City Brewing is the place to be this Saturday. It's frosted. One day, 5 brand new beers, and a stacked lineup with something for everyone. Kick off the afternoon with live music from Sunweight at 2:30. Then stick around because Bluff City Media is taking over with a Grizzlies watch party and live show. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. as the Grizz battle the Miami Heat. And here's the kicker. Every beer purchase enters you into our raffle for huge prizes. Grind City gift cards, exclusive merch, Grizz tickets, Alabama Shakes tickets, and more. Cold beer, live music, big game energy. Don't miss Frosted, only at Grind City Brewing. In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and Pink Beetles.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Tigers Live. I'm Francis Carlotta. I'm joined by Kenny Stubblefield, Roman Cleary. Welcome back to the show. Before we get back going into everything, y'all come out to Grind City Brewing for the Memphis Grizzlies Miami Heat game on the 21st. Y'all come out. Those specials sound awesome. You're going to see Kenny. You're going to see a lot of people from Bluff City Media. Go hang out, have some drinks, watch the Grizzlies play ball. I'm not going to guarantee a result about the Grizzlies, but hey, go have fun. Go hang out with people, get some friends, go to the watch party, have a good time, and enjoy those specials at Grind City Brewing.
It's going to be a great night. It's going to be a great day. The whole day is going to be awesome. They're doing this event called Frosted all day. Where there's going to be live music. They're introducing 5 new beers in frosted glasses. Every beer you get gets an entry put into the raffle. There's tons of Grizzlies tickets, Alabama Shakes tickets. We're going to do a live watch party at 7:00 with a live Grizzlies post-game bounce immediately afterwards from Grind City Brewing. Going to be a lot of fun. We're also going to be shooting a commercial for Grind City Brewing at the same time. So going to be a fun-filled day at Grind City Brewing. BCM will be there, and a bunch of other folks will be there. It'll be a lot of fun. So y'all come hang out with us. 76 Waterworks Avenue, I think is the address. Great place. Y'all come check it out. The tap room, they just got done with a lot of renovations, and so the patio's new. The tap room is getting renovated. They're putting a big stage out there for like live music. Oh man, it's gonna be great. So really cool place.
Hell yeah.
Right on the river. So it's a lot of fun.
Very cool. Yeah, y'all come out to that. Check out, go hang out with people from BCM, watch the Grizzlies play some basketball, have some great beers as well. And we also got to shout out Mugshots Grill and Bar. What an awesome place to go to watch sports, hang out with friends, have great drinks, eat great food. They are the South's premier sports grill and bar. They got 2 locations in the Mid-South, 6400 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, Mississippi, and 656 West Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Tennessee. I was at Mugshots when I was back home in Memphis in early January. We had a Tigers Live watch party for Memphis Tigers game. Awesome turnout. Great people came out, had a great time, and also met the owner who runs the shop down there. Ate awesome food. So all of y'all go out to Mugshots Grill and Bar. You can check out their website, www.mugshotsgrillandbar.com. Check out their menu or order online for pickup or delivery. Shout out to Mugshots, sponsor of Tigers Live.
There's a couple of comments that I want to highlight, and we can talk about it. Pack 29 comes in and says, hi. Hello. Can we separate Penny the coach and Penny the player? And then where'd it go? Brad Crow says, thoughts on this? Is this a level of fireable for Penny?
I don't know if we are qualified to answer that question. I think the only person that is Ed Scott. So I think we'll just have to see how that goes once the season is over. At this point, no, I don't think anyone knows anything about Penny's potential job security for next year.
Yeah, I think it would be inappropriate of us. I'll say this. Jerome Tang just got fired, and he got fired for I would say Kansas State is really bad. They won 1 game in the Big 12 this year. 2 years ago they went to the Elite 8 under Jerome Tang with is it Keontae Johnson? Was that his name? The kid from Florida.
Keontae
and
Marquise Noel.
Which was one of the most fun. That was a fun team, by the way. That Kansas State team was awesome. And obviously they've been bad the last couple of years. And I would say that, his firing was less. They're trying to fire him with cause because of that press conference, which I think is a Bush League move.
Yeah.
I think they're going to lose that battle. I think Kansas State will not win that. I think they will ultimately end up having to pay him his buyout. I'll say
or
this.
At least some of it.
They'll negotiate a buyout, probably, more than likely. I'll say this.
Yeah, Keontae Johnson is who you were looking for there.
Yeah.
That kid, when he played for Florida, he had the heart issue where he almost died on the court. That guy was awesome, and he was really good with Kansas State as well. So it was really good to see him playing well a couple of years ago. I would say in most normal situations that that the level of mediocrity I think that this Tigers team under Penny Hardaway has had is fireable. But this isn't a normal situation. This is Penny Hardaway in Memphis. And I think it's okay for us to say we don't know. We're not qualified to answer that question. We're not Ed Scott. We're not going to answer that question. But I think if you just take a step back and look at coaches that are fired in college basketball, they're fired for maybe a little bit less. But this is also Memphis and Penny Hardaway. So I think that is a legit argument to be made of how much leash and time do you give him to try to bring this thing around. So that's just me being honest. Like I'm not willing to, like, I don't think it's a question that we can really answer because we're not in charge of that. And I think it's okay to acknowledge that this is a different, unique situation compared to most college coaches because of who Penny Hardaway is to this city.
I mean, yeah, in all likelihood, in all reality, if this is a normal situation, he gets fired after 23-24. But
right.
Yeah,
it's not. So it's just hard to project, what, like, how close like that line would actually be right now. All we know right now is that right now it's not good. And it's the second time in 3 seasons where the season has gone really, really badly. It's kind of, just crumbled under Memphis at a very rapid degree. And if Penny remains this offseason, after the season's over, it's going to have to be yet another soul-searching offseason like it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I agree. Some people are asking questions about NIL. How much more money
we've gone over this ad nauseum, man.
Yeah, well, welcome to sports media. This is what we do. We answer the same questions over and over and over again. Fitter 60, shout out. How much more? Do what?
It's probably about negative $4 million. Yeah. Probably close to negative 4.5 if you're talking basketball.
Right.
Memphis has far and away the most NIL in the American when it comes to basketball. It's really not close.
It's not close.
Yep. It goes to what we've talked about in the past too. We know that Memphis has a lot of NIL. The problem with this season is that it went to the wrong players. It didn't go. It wasn't dispersed properly. The team was not built correctly. We know why it was built the way it was built. We've talked about that ad nauseum as well. But the NIL ain't the problem. It's who will the Memphis Tigers bring in with that NIL money? That's the problem with this season. It ain't the money, it's who they brought in, unfortunately, which is why we're here looking at this team.
Inevitably, and this is just I want to once again say I'm not advocating for Penny to be fired. So by answering these questions, but if Penny gets fired, more or less in attendance at home games, depends on who you hire.
Yeah.
I think 100%. I think that one of the ways that when Arkansas fired Sam Pittman in football this year, they immediately, before they even hired a head coach, raised $37 million in NIL funds immediately afterwards. Honestly, and it's a tried and true method at this point with NIL. If you want to boost your donor foundation or your donor giving, fire your head coach. That works. It's a tried and true method, honestly. And I'm not even joking. I'm not even trying to be silly. Like, no, that is 100% how it works, because there's only really one way to fire coaches now. And they call it soft firing. And that's when your donors stop giving money. And, that is where we are at Memphis right now with basketball.
Yeah. Entirely depends on who they hire.
100%. Depends on who they hire. I do not believe, I am not a proponent of the idea that if Penny Hardaway is not the coach of the University of Memphis, that the University of Memphis basketball program dies. I do not believe that at all.
It's the same thing with the John Morant thing. If John Morant doesn't play for the Grizzlies ever again, that does not mean the Grizzlies will just leave Memphis and no one's going to come to games. It's the same idea. It's the same goes for Penny in Memphis. If he's not the coach for this team, That does not mean the program dies and the interest in it goes away. That's not what that means.
It's gone now. Look at the home games.
Yeah.
Like, look at the amount of people. I can hear Roman, and he doesn't even talk during the games, and I can hear him over the broadcast on TV. Like, there's nobody there at the games. Like, the interest, we're not talking about like this team has they're garnering a lot of interest right now. Nobody's really showing up, and so Tip 358 says it feels like Memphis may be prioritizing football more now. About 30 years too late, Tip. About 30 years too late. They should have done that a long time ago. Real talk. To be a sustainable athletic department in college athletics, you absolutely should have focused on football a long time ago.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk. Roman, I want to get you wrote some awesome stuff this week about Zach Davis and Hassan Abdul Hakim being indefinitely suspended. A couple of days, 48 hours, maybe less than that later, Zach Davis posted an Instagram post of him at Laurie Walton, given that he had his hands out in front of him. I want to come back. Had this like R&B song underneath it,
Yes.
and it was, I want to be back. It was
He
ultimately.
does that a lot.
Does he? I don't follow him on Instagram. It was ultimately announced that Zach and Hassan met with Penny. Zach was reinstated and Hassan was dismissed from the team. Just what's your reporting on that situation? Like, what happened there? And just what are your overall thoughts about Hassan and Zach and their role moving forward?
Yeah, so I was told yesterday that Zach Davis actually requested to meet with Penny Hardaway about a potential meeting to, sort out his future on the team. And prior to this meeting, the feeling, at least that I gather, is that both were ultimately going to be dismissed. So Zach, in a lot of ways, saved his spot on the team by whatever came out of that meeting with Penny on Tuesday. So he's back on the team, and he obviously played a little bit tonight, and we'll just have to really wait and see how that situation plays out moving forward. Do I feel like that saga is completely done and dusted? No. I would still keep an eye on what happens with Zach Davis moving forward, because like that relationship with Penny has been bad all season. These are just two individuals that just do not see eye to eye on many things. And as Penny said in the pregame radio, they're sorting it out. They're trying to work through it, but I guess it's just not over yet. And as for Hassan, I mean, this has been kind of festering all season, guys. He missed 6 of the first 8 games, missed the Baylor game kind of out of nowhere with personal reasons. Then, he played well statistically for some of the time he was on the floor at Memphis. 13 appearances and 10 starts. So this was clearly a guy, even after all the off-the-court stuff that had happened at the beginning of the year. This is still a highly talented player that Penny prioritized, that Penny believed in. So he tried to give him as much of a role as possible. But as the weeks and months went on, I mean, you could clearly see a downshift in terms of his effort and energy and everything. I mean, you go from a performance like the one he had at Louisville to where he was playing his heart out and, making that game at least somewhat competitive for some time. You go from that to the kind of performances he had against Tulsa and Wichita, to where he gets a bunch of rebounds at Tulsa, but you could clearly see that the body language just wasn't there, and then he just doesn't really do anything at all at Wichita. And after that, he obviously just disappears with another apparent illness and leaves the team. It doesn't even show his face at the facility or anything for 3 games, which is a span of like a week and a half. Comes back for the Charlotte game, doesn't play there, doesn't play at North Texas, and then he is suspended and subsequently dismissed. After that, it just comes down to a situation where I just don't think Hassan, from what I've gathered, I just don't think he cared enough to make the efforts necessary to really be a contributing member of this team. And unfortunately for Memphis, there were warning signs about this with him heading into this season because these issues that he had this year were not anything new. He got booted off the team at UTRGV last year. It's the second time in a row, second consecutive season at 2 different schools where Hassan Abdul Hakim has been kicked off of his team midseason. It's just unfortunate for Memphis that this is just who he is, but it was also entirely avoidable because he was not recruited the way that a player of his talent was recruited for a reason. He was not paid the player of the way that a player of his talent is usually paid for a reason. And Memphis took the gamble, and ultimately they lost on Hassan. That's pretty much the way it is for him there.
For instance, what are your thoughts on, like, just kind of, is Hassan Abdul Hakim, like, in your time being a Memphis fan, is he one of the more disappointing players? Like, is he one of the more disappointing guys who's put on a Memphis uniform to you? Because he is to me. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of when you watched his tape at UTRTG, you could kind of see the player that he could become. You saw his fluidity on the floor. You saw him grab a rebound, push the ball down the court, and then just like dunk on a dude. Like, you could see what he could become. And when he signed with Memphis, a lot of people thought that he was going to be one of the most impactful players offensively for the Tigers. On our first shows of Tigers Live during the year, we were all saying that just wait for Hassan. He's going to give that energetic punch to this offense that they desperately need. Another guy who can put the ball on the floor, get to his spot, finish through contact, and be a creator for the offense as well with his passing ability. And then we would see flashes of that. I remember his first game of the season, Kenny, and we came on Tigers Live and we talked about how good Hassan looked and saying how he could be the spark that this team needs based on what we saw from him tonight. And we'll say that we all said, let's give him some time. Let's give him some run. He's just getting healthy again. Let's see what he looks like. And then fast forward, as Roman said very well earlier, you would see glimpses of what he could look like, but too often he just looked so disengaged on the floor. His body language was so negative on the floor. His shoulders would always be hunched over. Yes, he had that game where he against Louisville. I think it was against Louisville, but there's a game against Tulsa where he grabbed a bunch of rebounds. I think he was like the only guy who had at least like maybe led the team rebounds that game. But outside of that ability, he just didn't show positivity on the floor. And we've talked about this a lot with guys on this team that I don't think mentally, unfortunately, they're just not where they need to be good college basketball players. We see it for the Sun. We've seen it with Zach Davis. Kenny, you haven't minced your words about Zach Davis throughout the year. And now we're seeing it kind of with Doug McDaniel now, where I just don't think mentally he's strong enough right now to pull himself out of that slump. And y'all, I would love to be wrong. I would love to see Doug start to play good basketball. I would love to see Zach Davis come back from whatever's happening between him and Penny and play really good basketball. I would love to see that. I just don't think it'll happen. I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah. I think part of my frustration is my own fault. Because I remember, you guys might have a better timeline of this, but it was the 2000 and what was DeAndre Williams' first year?
No, that was the COVID year.
That was the 2020, right?
Yeah, the 2021 team that won the NIT.
Yeah. The NIT champion.
Hell yeah. That was Musa freshman year and DeAndre Williams. And if you remember correctly, like DeAndre was coming to Memphis and wasn't granted approval he wasn't granted a waiver to play until for I think maybe 7 games into the season. And the Tigers struggled at the beginning part of that 2021 season. And then I remember they were in New Orleans against Tulane, And all of a sudden, the word comes down that NCAA is granting every waiver that's been applied for, that's been asked for. And so all of a sudden, like an hour before the game, you get the news DeAndre Williams is available. Because here's the thing, you heard from Penny throughout that time. He's like, I'm just waiting to get DeAndre. I'm just waiting to get DeAndre.
Yep.
Like, oh
just
man,
waiting.
wait till you see him. Wait till he's been in practice. He's killing everybody. Just wait. And then we get the word about an hour before that he's available, and you're like, okay, what's going to happen? And he comes out and lights that
Lit the world on fire.
Lights that shit on fire. And
man, he was good.
I'm getting chills even thinking about it. Because, like, and DeAndre's energy and the level, he's not the most talented player that Penny has ever recruited at the University of Memphis. But if
ugliest jump shot in the world,
if there's anybody that I can think of that absolutely embodies like college basketball and what makes college basketball beautiful and just the kind of player that he was, he lit that team on fire and they went on a run after that. After he started playing, they went on a run. And I think I might have started to put, like, with the words that were being used to describe Hassan Abdul Hakim and what he does on the court, I was like, man, wait till this dude comes back. He might be the next DeAndre Williams for this team in terms of just lighting the shit on fire. And it just didn't happen, man. Like, and it didn't happen because Hassan Abdul Hakim could care less. He's like literally the exact opposite of DeAndre Williams in terms of what you're looking for in a college basketball player. How do you go to two different programs? How do you work your ass off and get two different scholarships from two different programs and blow both opportunities like that? When you've got DeAndre Williams, who's fighting for his life to continue to play basketball, who's now worked his way into a situation where he's making shit ton of money overseas playing basketball, winning championships and MVPs over in Singapore where he's at. Like, this guy is killing it where he's at, all because he is exactly what you're looking for in a college basketball player. And Hassan Abdul Hakim is the exact opposite of that. And I just, it makes me so mad because how do you waste such an opportunity? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I mean, I guess it just comes down to, certain mindsets and certain mentalities. And Hassan's just clearly did not fit within the expectations that this program has to win, to compete at the level that they expect to compete in. And, for much of the season, Zach Davis haven't either. Zach Davis has kind of been Penny's poster child for much of this year in terms of high energy not being there, buy-in not being there, effort not being there. I mean, Zach, I'd say, has probably been called out for that publicly by Penny more than any other player on the team. And again, like, Zach Davis is still here for now, and he could very well still be here for the rest of the season. But again, that situation is on shaky legs at best right now.
Apparently there's some reports coming out that Penny is doing a press conference and he is pretty emotional. So let me show this video to y'all. Shout out to Jason Munns, who's actually in Tampa right now. This is his video from his Twitter.
So much emotion from you tonight during that game. It's very obvious.
I wanted that game, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just... I just wanted the game.
I was going to ask how you keep from losing it when things are going the way they have been.
I'm just going to keep riding with my guys and believing in God. That's what I'm going to do. It's tough because we've never been here, but it's not impossible.
Thanks, Coach.
Whew.
A lot of yeah.
And you can
Gentlemen,
you can hear Kirk trying to get him out of there as fast as possible.
Yeah.
You can hear that. Oh my god!
And shout out to Kirk. That's probably a good call. Get him out of there.
Yeah.
Like, that was tough. That's a tough watch. I don't think anybody could ever sit here and say anything about Penny Hardaway's care factor, right? The guy cares a lot. And he's done so much for this program. And you just got to think this is probably weighing as heavy on him as it is anybody else, right? Like as frustrated as you are, Francis, and as sad as we all are. Maybe Roman's not, but me and you are sad. Roman's a reporter. He can't be sad. But it's clear that as much weight as this is causing for all the Tiger fans that are unabashed Tiger fans, this has taken as much of a toll on Penny as it is on anybody else.
I want to be very clear about this, and I've talked about this on other Tigers lives as well.
Hey, don't be an ass. Come on, man.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's wow. Yeah, it's I've said this many times before. I don't know Penny Hardaway. I've met him a few times, but I don't know the guy. But what I can say with 100% certainty in my heart of hearts is that Penny Hardaway loves the city of Memphis. Penny Hardaway loves coaching for the men's basketball team for the Memphis Tigers. Penny Hardaway gives all the damns in the world about bringing glory to this program. He wants this so badly. I know that in my heart of hearts. And if you question that, I think you got to look at yourself in the mirror and really, really think about who you are as a person. I firmly believe that, because there's no way you can question that. And seeing that right there, I've said this before too, this season has to be weighing hard on him because of how much, not only does he want to win for himself, how much he wants to win for the city of Memphis. He said he wanted this game really badly. Well, yeah, he wanted this game really badly because he knew what this game meant for the season. He still has a season to coach. As he said, he's going to keep riding with his guys. He's going to keep believing in God because, y'all, that's all he can do. That's all he can do right now. And we talked about it earlier too. I really believe the staff and him as a coach, they're doing what they can. I don't think he should have sat Aaron Bradshaw. That was a bad decision. I firmly believe in that. But outside of that decision, I think he's doing everything he can to make this team good. But at some point, there's nothing he can do. The players themselves have to be the ones to flip their switch and play hard and actually execute on the floor. I don't think enough people realize that. The players are still the ones on the floor who have to play well. And I think we can all agree, whether or not you think Penny should be fired, whether or not you think should give him 1 year. I think we can all agree is that these players are not playing well. They're not executing. And at some point, you've got to put some onus on them too. So I'm not going to change my mind on what I've said before, that whatever happens this season, if Memphis loses out for this season, if Memphis bows out in the first round of the American tournament, hell, if they don't even make the American tournament, if the worst comes to worst about this season, I still don't believe Penny Hardaway should be fired. I still want to give him 1 more year and see what happens next season. See if he learns from the mistakes of this year. We know why they're here this season. Let's see if Penny Hardaway learns from those mistakes, and I'm willing to give him another year. But regardless of that, he's got to learn from this season. He's got to.
But in saying that, though, if this is the last season, that right there is going to be viewed as the breaking point.
Oh
yeah,
that's gonna be it. If this season is the end, that's gonna go down as the moment where Penny finally broke. Yeah. At least for now, it will, because you never know. Because this season has shown that it can always get worse for Memphis, but that could very well be the breaking point. If this is,
I also want to be clear too. If Penny Hardaway does get fired, I'll understand. I'll get it. I will 100% get it. Will I be, as a Memphis Tigers basketball fan, will I be depressed that Penny Hardaway got fired? Yes, I will be genuinely depressed. Me personally, I will be. But will I understand the decision by the Memphis Tigers athletic department to fire Penny Hardaway? I will understand the decision. Even if Penny Hardaway resigns, I will understand that decision. Will it make me happy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I'll get it. And I'll continue to rock with this program and let's see who they hire if that does happen.
The truth wins out says Penny has been talking down our conference for years now. This team is a bottom feeder. I actually disagree with this statement. He has not been talking down this conference. He actually talks about how this conference is constantly underrated in terms of, now listen, I don't necessarily agree with him. We've been talking bad about this conference. Like the three of us are like, yeah, this conference is terrible. But Penny
and the fact that Memphis is performing poorly in it does not change that.
Right. Yeah, it's still a bad conference. This is just a bad Memphis basketball team. I think the biggest indictment on him is that he's in 8 years has won the conference tournament in the regular season one time. Like that's not good. But this conference is a conference like this conference and the way that you guys both had one of the greatest clips come out of this show a few weeks back when you talked about the reclamation projects that the University of Memphis has. This conference is known for being a place of reclamation, right? Like guys move down a level to the American Conference from a Power 4 conference and basically show out down here. A lot of veteran players. Penny came into college basketball at the University of Memphis trying to recruit a bunch of young 5-star guys, and in the first 2-3 years that he was here, he had 2 number 1 recruiting classes. Or maybe 4 years he was here, he had 2 number 1 recruiting classes. And then he had to change the way he did it. He had to go to a more veteran presence, right? Now when the transfer portal got into place and all that, he realized for me to be successful in this conference, I need to get more veteran guys in here. Penny has talked very consistently about how he thinks this conference is underrated. But I'm not going to get into the last part because that's just conjecture, and I whatever. Jeff Samsel said, "Do we think the players have thrown in the towel on Penny, or do they just not have the talent?" What do y'all think?
I mean, honestly, I think the answer is the former for some players, and the answer is the latter for some of the others. But the players who have thrown in the towel the players who have thrown in the towel have had that towel thrown in for a long time now, like since the beginning of the season. So, I mean,
they threw their towel in when they graduated high school.
It's like,
I think to say, I agree with you. I do think it's both. I don't think that, like, all you got to do is look at what Roman just reported on with Zach Davis, right?
Yeah.
If Zach Davis had thrown in the towel on Penny, he wouldn't have, like, he would have just accepted his fate and moved off the team, but he fought to get his roster spot back. So I don't think we can say everybody. I don't think we can say the majority. I think we can say some have. One of those guys is gone now, but I just think it's probably there's just not, some of these guys aren't as talented as what you need them to be successful in college basketball.
Yeah, I mean there are players on this team that would be fine, like perfectly suitable in lesser roles, but you are asking them to, cultivate beyond their natural ability. And when you're in that place, think this is just kind of how things can be overall there.
Yep. All right, we've been going for an hour 15. Let's call it. Francis, you ready to get out of here?
Yeah, man. All of y'all who tune in Tigers Live tonight, appreciate all of y'all. Everybody in the comments, thank you all for being so active. If we didn't get to you, apologies, but thank you all to everybody who were in the comment section, being active, showing us love in the show today. This season is what it is. But regardless, we will always be here to talk about it. We're here for y'all. We do this for Memphis Tigers fans who rock with the program, and we appreciate all of y'all who watch the show and support Tigers Live.
Time out. Brian Harris, this is
false.
Factually,
this is completely false. This is completely false.
This is factually and in every way incorrect.
This is completely false. Oh my gosh.
I can't tell you how wrong you are. I'm not trying to be a dick, but this is 1 gazillion% wrong. I just wish
money is not the reason PJ's gone. It's not.
Well,
Timo said they made y'all not stop the show. I just couldn't
Kenny,
let this. I couldn't let this comment go by without saying something, because that is literally 1,000% not true. Like 1,000% not true. I just can't tell you how wrong you are on that.
The same dude said that Memphis is a mid-tier team, and I was about to just go off, and then you wanted to close the show. I am not going to go off on you, Brian, because I think you should just look in the mirror, bro. Go look at yourself in the mirror. If you're not even a Tigers fan and that's how you feel, cool. Then you don't really know what you're talking about. You don't understand the history of this program. So I'm good. I'm not going to address that.
This is true. This is true. This is not the truth went out. You've been wrong about some things tonight, and I really like your YouTube picture. Like, it's pretty dope. This is true. He made less money in Kansas State than he would have at Memphis.
Yeah.
Like,
so
there. All right, let's get out of here.
Look, what did you, Kenny? What did you say earlier on the show? Sports media addressing the same things a bunch of times. You know, we've talked about NIL a bunch. We talked about why this team is what it is.
Yeah.
We talked about the BJ stuff. You know, whatever. Yeah. Brian, appreciate you, dog, for watching the show. But come on, man. I don't know what that is. I don't know what I just saw, quite frankly. That aside, all of y'all, including you, Brian, thank you for watching Tigers Live, showing us love. Be sure to subscribe to Bluff City Media. Hit the notification bell so that way every time you know what.
No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
The answer is he didn't want to come back.
Yeah, he left.
That's
right.
the answer.
Now he's gone. Yeah, whatever. That's all good.
He's not here. Guess what? I bet he wishes he was.
Yeah, thank everybody, y'all. For real. Y'all are the best. Thank y'all for showing love to Bluff City Media. Subscribe, turn the notification bell on. You can find me on Twitter at Slugga Sports, SLUGGA Sports, Kenny at Kenny_BCM, Roman on Twitter at ROA_clear, right, Roman?
Just ROA.
No underscores there.
Just ROA clear. Find Roman.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, out of all of us, listen, Francis is a fantastic follow. I'm not a great follow. I literally just retweet Bluff City Media stuff. Roman, follow Roman, ROA clear. Follow Roman on Twitter and follow him on his Substack. I'm telling you, I feel terrible. I just realized this week, Roman, I just subscribed to your newsletter. Like I did. I wasn't subscribed. I see all your stuff. I'm a terrible, terrible person. This guy, it is his coverage of the University of Memphis basketball program is literally top notch. Like, so go follow him, ROA clear, follow his Substack, hit him up. Great. So follow him.
Yeah. I could praise Roman the whole show. I could praise him for like an hour 15, but whatever. Y'all follow Roman. Thank y'all for tuning in to Tigers Live. I'm Francis Carlotta for Kenny Stubblefield, Roman Cleary. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Thank you for watching this episode of Tigers Live. If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.